Today is day 9 for my Bonne Maman Advent Calendar. Let's see what's behind door number 9.
Counter cooking. No kitchen, no problem.
Here's door number 9. It's at the top of the calendar. And we have Bonne Maman Honey. And here's the Bonne Maman Honey. And different types of honey do taste different, so I'm going to give this one a taste. This one has what I would call kind of like a generic honey flavor. I've had so many different types of honey. I could tell you that some of them vary drastically in flavors, but this one's definitely more typical. Today I am making a 3-ingredient honey cake. The ingredients that I need are 1 egg, which I have in this bowl, and some honey, which is the Bonne Maman honey that I got in my advent calendar today. And I also need some flour. I will be using a 1/3 cup flour. So I found this recipe on the internet and then I cut it down into 1/3, and I'm gonna hope it works in this Dash mini toaster oven. The first thing that I need to do is beat the egg and the honey with a hand mixer for 10 minutes until it is light and fluffy and it increases dramatically in volume. The recipe says to beat this on high. This is what the batter looks like after 10 minutes. You can see it's really light, really fluffy. And the next thing I need to do is mix in the flour. So the recipe says to sift in half of the flour and then to fold it into the mixture. So I'm gonna try to not deflate the mixture too much. That's about half of the flour. It said to just make sure that there's no flour like on the bottom. I'm going to add the second half of the flour. I always find it to be challenging to fold in flour without deflating the batter. Something I've never really been good at doing. And then have the flour be incorporated into the batter. Like how much dry flour is permissible within the mixture. Because as it bakes, I would think some of that flour would then dissolve in as it's baking. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I think that's good enough. I'm using this mini springform pan and I have parchment in the bottom because that's what the directions say to do. And now I am going to butter the sides. So I'm gonna butter the sides and then put the parchment back in. Sides are buttered. There's my parchment. And now I have to add the batter. So this batter is really lumpy, like you can see. It's not a smooth batter. That could be because I did something wrong. So let's just push it out and try to even it out a little bit. This recipe calls for a 325-degree oven, and if I'm using this Dash mini toaster oven, this cooks at around 400 degrees, so I'm not going to preheat it. I'm adding the cake pan, and I definitely am covering it with foil, but I don't want to cover it too tightly because if there's steam that needs to escape, I want the steam to escape. So there we go. Let's put that in and shut this. And I'm going to set it for 15 minutes. The recipe says that it should bake for 25 minutes. It also says not to cook it higher than 325 because the top can burn. But that's why I have the foil over it, because this little oven is notorious for burning things if I don't put foil in. So we'll see what happens. It's been almost a full 30 minutes. So let's check on this now. It smells good. Like, it smells like a cake. I don't know if it rose, like, I don't know. I have no idea. So this is what it looks like. It doesn't look like it rose much, and the edges are brown. So I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to let it cool off. The top is firm. This might come out really rubbery. I have no idea. But it says to cool it off completely, and that's what I'm going to do. Here's the cake. This is what it looks like. The edges are like super brown, and I don't think it came out right because this cake is supposed to be light and fluffy, and it doesn't feel light and fluffy. It feels kind of heavy, but I could be wrong. We could be surprised when we cut into it. Also, this cake is supposed to be topped with additional honey, but I'm not going to top it with honey until I cut it open and we take a look inside and see what's going on in here. So I'm just going to cut it in half. It feels dense. It does not feel light and fluffy. So actually, I'm pleasantly surprised because if we look at the inside of this cake, it looks good. But it's definitely not what I would call a light and fluffy cake. It doesn't feel like a sponge cake. It's definitely more dense. I just cut it into 4 little pieces, and I just want to taste a piece plain before I put any additional honey on top of it. It's actually pretty good. I like the fact that it's not overly sweet. I liked that it only had 3 ingredients and it's simple to make. So I'm going to put some honey on top of this piece, because the recipe said you should actually put a thin coat of honey over the top. Let's cut this. And I'm going to taste it with the honey topping. The cake itself is a bit dry, and the honey on top definitely helps with the dryness. This is the kind of cake that is perfect to eat with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee because it is on the drier side, and it would go really nice with a hot beverage. And it would also be really good topped with whipped cream and some fruit, like a strawberry shortcake. It kind of reminds me of a shortcake. What if we cut it this way? What if we cut it long ways like that? So here we have 2 pieces, and what if we put some butter on it? I don't have any softened butter right now, so I just put some very thin slices of butter on this piece. That's a really nice bite with the added butter. Now I'm going to try it with butter and honey. Really good with the butter and honey. So what the texture is actually reminding me of is a corn muffin. If you've ever made a corn muffin that's come out kind of dry, that's what this reminds me of. It even kind of looks like a corn muffin, but that's really the best comparison that I can think of as far as texture goes for this cake. It tastes different than a corn muffin, obviously, because it's not made with any corn, but it does have a very similar texture to a corn muffin, and this could be eaten any way that a corn muffin can be eaten. And for a cake, it's not very sweet at all. So that is what I did with the honey from my Bonne Maman Advent Calendar today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see what else I can make with the fruit spreads from this Bonne Maman Advent Calendar. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.